Hello and welcome back, dear students. I really hope and believe that you all are safe and healthy. In my previous videos, we have discussed about chemical equations, their characteristics, and how to balance chemical equations. Alright, now in this video, we will going to discuss and understand more about chemical reactions and their types. Alright, so before we proceed, please be ready with pen and paper so that you can note down important points. So let's proceed now. Now, the first topic is informations conveyed by a balanced chemical equation. So, the first information we get is about the number of molecules and number of moles of each reactant and products. Second, mass and mass relationship, that is relative masses of the reactants reacting and the masses of the products formed. Later on, I'll give you examples also. Then third, mass volume relationship. That means relative masses of the reactants and the products and volumes of the gaseous reactants and products. Gaseous reactant means any gas which is taking part in a chemical reaction, like for example, nitrogen and hydrogen. They react together to form ammonia, है ना? So this is a gaseous reaction. So in case of gaseous reactants and products, we consider their volume, and 1 mole of any gas at standard temperature and pressure condition is equals to 22.4 liters. Then fourth is volume-volume relationship. This can be seen in case of gaseous reactions. Now I'll give you examples. Now here I have taken one example. You can see the reaction which I have written over there, calcium carbonate, CaCO3, and in the bracket I have written S, as S stands for solid. Alright, so calcium carbonate is in solid state plus 2HCl, it is in the liquid state, then it gives CaCl2, calcium chloride, and this is in the solid state, plus water H2O, it is in the liquid state, plus CO2, it is in the gaseous state. Is that clear? So this is the chemical reaction. Now this is a balanced chemical reaction. You can check also. Now what are the informations we're going to get from this reaction? Let us see. Number one, about the number of molecules. You can see that CaCO3, only one molecule is there. There is no other coefficient present before CaCO3. So we will consider that only one molecule of calcium carbonate is present here. Now here you can see that there are two molecules of HCl. So I have written 2 over here. One molecule of CaCl2, one molecule of water, and one molecule of CO2. Similarly, number of moles, only 1 mole of CaCO3, 2 moles of HCl, 1 mole of CaCl2, 1 mole of water, and 1 mole of CO2 gas. Is that clear? I hope you have understood about the number of molecules and number of moles. Number of molecules जितने होंगे उतने ही number of moles भी होंगे. Then the third is mass and mass relationship. So here let me explain. Calcium has atomic mass 40. So I have written 40 here. Okay. And then calcium, after calcium we have carbon. So carbon atomic mass is 12, and after carbon we have oxygen, and you can see that oxygen has 3 atoms. All right, that means one atom of oxygen, atomic mass of one atom of oxygen is 16. All right, so 3 atoms of oxygen, atomic mass will be 3 into 16, that means 48. So we will add all these 3 together and we'll get 100 grams. That means the atomic mass of calcium carbonate is 100 grams. I hope you have understood how to calculate. All right. Now let's come to twice HCl. Okay, I have written 2 before the bracket because we're going to multiply this 2 with the numbers given inside the bracket. All right. So one is for hydrogen. You all know that hydrogen has one atomic mass. Then 35.5 is the atomic mass of chlorine, one atom of chlorine. Okay. So 35.5 plus 1 is equals to 36.5 into 2 gives 73 grams. All right. Let us come to calcium chloride. One atom of calcium and 2 atoms of chlorine are participating in this. So atomic mass of one atom of calcium is 40 and chlorine 35.5. There are two atoms, so 35.5 into 2 is 71. So we will going to add these two. 40 plus 71 is 111 gram, 111 gram. Let us come to water. Two atoms of hydrogen are present. Atomic mass of one atom of hydrogen is 1. So there are two atoms, so we will write 2 over here, plus oxygen is there. Atomic mass of one atom of oxygen is 16. So 2 plus 16 is 18 gram is the mass of water. Then carbon dioxide. Carbon has atomic mass 12 and then oxygen has atomic mass 16. That is for one atom. There are two atoms present here, so 16 to the 32. So 12 plus 32 is 44 gram. So this is how we calculate mass of these compounds. Let us come to the fourth, that is mass and volume relationship. All right. So for the gaseous component only, we will going to write volume. All right. Earlier only I have explained that for gaseous reactant and product, for 1 mole of gas, we consider its volume as 22.4 liter. Now in this reaction, you can see only one gaseous substance is present, that is carbon dioxide. All right. So for these rest components, we will going to write mass only. Like for calcium carbonate, same 100 grams. For twice HCl, same 73 grams. CaCl2 is in solid state, same 111 grams. H2O in the liquid state, 18 grams. All right. Their masses will be same. But in the case of this gas, carbon dioxide gas, you can see that there is only 1 mole of carbon dioxide gas present in this reaction. So 1 mole of any gas at STP, its volume is 22.4 liter. I hope you have understood. Suppose if there will be 2 molecules or 2 moles of carbon dioxide, then the volume will be 2 into 22.4 liter. That means 44.8 liter. So with this, we have completed this topic. What are the informations conveyed by a balanced chemical equation? What are the information? We get to know about the number of molecules, about the number of moles, about mass and volume relationship, and about mass and mass relationship. Informations which are not conveyed by a balanced chemical equations are: number one, it does not tell about the feasibility of reaction. It means it does not tell whether the reaction is possible or it can be easily done or conveniently done or not. Secondly, it does not tell about the rate of reaction, about the speed of reaction. Next is how to make chemical reactions more informative. Okay, so first is by mentioning their physical states of reactants and products. Like for example, if a solid component is present in a reaction, we show that with a small s in the bracket. For liquid components, we write small l in the bracket. For gaseous component, we write small g in the bracket. And for the solutions which are made in water, they are known as aqueous solutions. So for aqueous solution, we write AQ in the bracket. Second is when a gas is produced, when a gas is released in a chemical reaction, so we show that with an upward arrow. How do we show that? Like this. Is that clear? Okay. And when a PPT is the short form of precipitate. And when a precipitate is formed in a chemical reaction, we show that with a downward arrow. Is that clear? When a gas is released, when a gas is produced, like for example, calcium carbonate plus HCl gives calcium chloride plus H2O plus CO2. So CO2 is a gas. So we show that with an upward arrow. And when a precipitate is formed, we show that with a downward arrow. You can consider the reaction of barium chloride and sodium sulfate. So which precipitate will be formed in this reaction? Can you tell me? We have already done this reaction. Yes, barium sulfate. So for barium sulfate, we can show this precipitate by downward arrow. Next is reversible reactions are shown by double-headed arrow like this. Okay, so these arrows are put in the reactions in which the reactions are reversible. Like for example, N2 plus 3H2 gives twice NH3. NH3 is ammonia. So this is a reversible reaction. So that is why I have drawn this arrow here. All right. Fourth is condition of temperature, pressure and catalyst are written above or below the arrow. So for this, let me give you few examples. Okay, example number 1 is of ammonia only. N2 plus 3H2 gives twice NH3, and you can see temperature pressure conditions. Temperature 450 degrees Celsius at 300 atmospheric pressure, and the catalyst which is taking part in the reaction is Fe, that means iron. So these are the informations which are written above or below the arrow. It makes the reaction more informative. All right, and you can see G is written here. That means all these three components, nitrogen, hydrogen and ammonia, are in gaseous form. Have you all understood? Second is KClO3. There are two molecules, 2 moles. In the gaseous state it is present. So when it is heated, this triangular sign is of heating in the presence of MnO2. This is a catalyst over here, manganese oxide. All right. So it gives 2 KCl. KCl is in the solid state, as you can see here. And then 3 O2, 3 molecules of oxygen in the gaseous state. Is that clear? Then the third is CO, that means carbon monoxide in the gaseous form, plus H2. You know H2 is a gas. There are 2 molecules of H2 in the presence of 340 atmospheric pressure and at 300 degrees Celsius forms methanol, CH3OH, and this is in the liquid form. Is that clear? I hope you have understood. Types of chemical reaction. This is one of the important topic of the chapter. There are 4 types of chemical reactions. Number 1 is combination reaction. Number 2, decomposition reaction. Number 3, displacement reaction. And number 4, double displacement reaction. Now we will going to discuss these 4 types of reactions one by one. First type of reaction is combination reaction. When 2 or more reactants react together, they form a single product. So this type of reaction is known as a combination reaction. Examples given below are H2 plus O2 gives H2O, C plus O2 gives CO2. So in these two reactions, you will observe that both the reactions have 2 reactants, all right? And these 2 reactants react together to form a single product. There is only one product formed in the reaction. So these type of reactions in which a single product is formed from 2 or more reactants is known as a combination reaction. Another example I would like to give here, calcium oxide reacts vigorously with water. Vigorously means very strongly with water to produce slaked lime. Slaked lime is the name of calcium hydroxide, CaOH whole twice. Is that clear? Releasing a large amount of heat. That means this is also a combination reaction. You can see clearly that there are 2 reactants which are participating, CaO, quicklime, calcium oxide and water. All right, and they are combining together to form a single product, that is CaOH whole twice. So this is also a combination reaction. One point to be noted here is when this reaction is taking part, it is releasing a large amount of heat. Okay, so such a reaction in which heat is liberated, that reaction is known as, yes, come on, please recall, we have already discussed this in my first video. There I discussed 2 types of reaction in change of temperature, if you remember. So there are 2 reactions. First is endothermic and second is exothermic. So exothermic reaction is that reaction in which heat is liberated, heat is released. So similarly here also heat is liberated here. So this combination reaction can be an exothermic reaction. Is that clear? So one point you can note down that most of the combination reactions are exothermic in nature. That means they liberate heat energy. I hope you have understood. This is an additional point. It is not related to combination reactions. Previously, we were discussing about calcium hydroxide. Okay, and you know it very well that calcium hydroxide is used for whitewashing walls. Okay, so calcium hydroxide, when it reacts slowly with carbon dioxide present in air, okay, now this carbon dioxide is given out by humans only. Okay, so when calcium hydroxide on the walls, when it reacts with carbon dioxide in air, it forms a thin layer of calcium carbonate on the walls. Okay, and this calcium carbonate is formed after 2 to 3 days of whitewashing, and it gives a shiny finish to the walls. And this shiny finish is basically because of H2O, which is formed as a byproduct in this reaction. Okay, so one more thing, it is interesting to note that the chemical formula of marble is also CaCO3, calcium carbonate. Is that clear? So this is an additional point you can note down somewhere. It can come in reasoning also. Okay. Second type of reaction is decomposition reaction. First was combination reaction. Second type of reaction is decomposition reaction. And this is basically an opposite of combination reaction. Now, what happens in this reaction is when a single reactant or substance breaks or decomposes into two or more products. This type of reaction is known as decomposition reaction. Here I have given two examples. 2FeSO4 ferrous sulfate on heating, it decomposes into Fe2O3, that means ferric oxide plus SO2 plus SO3. So here you can see that one single reactant breaks or decompose into two or more products. Is that clear? Another example is calcium carbonate decompose into CaO and CO2. I hope you have understood. Decomposition reactions are basically those reactions in which a single reactant or a substance on heating, yeah, uh, on passing electric current decompose into two or more products. Now, just now I was explaining that decomposition takes place on heating, on passing electric current. So based on this only, decomposition reactions are of three types. So first is thermal decomposition. Now what happens in this is when decomposition is carried out by heating. Okay, here I have given two examples. 2PbNO3 whole twice. This is lead nitrate. On heating, it decomposes into 2PbO lead oxide plus 4NO2 nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. So here you can see that a single reactant, a single substance breaks on heating into two or more products. Is that clear? So this is a decomposition reaction. Moreover, it is a thermal decomposition reaction if we talk specifically because this reaction is carried out by heating. Another example is ferrous sulfate, FeSO4.7H2O. This is the formula of ferrous sulfate. It is also known as green vitriol. Okay, so this is also on heating decomposed into FeSO4 and water molecules. Water of crystallization gets separates out. Is that clear? So these two are example of thermal decomposition reaction. Second type of decomposition reaction is electrolysis. Electrolysis is basically known as a decomposition reaction which is carried out by passing electric current. Is that clear? Okay, so by electrolysis we can separate water components. Water has two components, hydrogen and oxygen. Is that clear? So these two components, these two gases are separated by passing electric current. Okay, H2O on passing electric currents gives H2 and O2. H2 being a positively charged ion gets deposit at cathode. Cathode is a negative electrode. Is that clear? And oxygen being negative in nature gets deposit at anode. Anode is a positive electrode. Is that clear? So this is how we can separate these two elements from water. Second is NaCl. When NaCl decompose by passing electric current, it changes into sodium ions, Na positive, and chloride ions, Cl negative. Na is positive in nature, so it also gets deposit at cathode, cathode being a negative electrode, whereas chloride ions, they deposit at anode. Anode is a positive electrode. I hope you have understood electrolysis. Then the last type of decomposition reaction is photodecomposition reaction, which is also known as photolysis. So in this decomposition reaction, there is presence of light. Okay, this reaction is carried out in the presence of light. All right, so I have given two examples here. AgCl, that means silver chloride. Okay, in the presence of light, Sunlight can be used. Okay. So when silver chloride in the presence of sunlight decompose, and it decompose into silver and chlorine. Okay. So silver chloride turns gray in sunlight. Silver chloride is white in color, and in the presence of sunlight it turns gray in color. So this is a photo decomposition reaction. Another example is of silver bromide. Silver bromide also behaves in the same way. AgBr in the presence of sunlight changes into Ag and bromine. Is that reaction? And the above reactions are used in black and white photography. I hope you have understood. So can you tell me what form of energy is causing these decomposition reactions? Please go through it. Okay. Now, the conclusion point. So the reactions in which energy is absorbed in all these three types of decomposition reaction, you must have observed that in these three reaction, energy is being absorbed by the reactants. Okay. So when energy in the form of heat, light, and what was the third one? Electricity, electric current. So when reactions are taking place, when energy is absorbed, they are known as endothermic reactions. So basically, most of the decomposition reactions are endothermic in nature. That means decomposition reactions takes place by utilizing or by absorbing energy. Is that clear? And combination reactions are exothermic in nature because combination reactions results in the liberation of energy, whereas decomposition reactions are endothermic in nature because these reactions results by in the absorption of energy. Third type of reaction is displacement reaction. When a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal, such a reaction is known as displacement reaction. Let me give you a few examples. Example first is Fe plus CuSO4 gives FeSO4 plus Cu. Now in this reaction, iron, that is Fe, has displaced or removed copper from copper sulfate solution. Can you see? Here you can see that Fe has displaced this copper, alright, and it has taken its place, okay, and it has formed FeSO4 and copper is removed from the solution. Is that clear? And why it has been done? Because Fe is more reactive than copper. That is why. More examples are given below. Zn plus CuSO4 gives ZnSO4 plus Cu. Second is Pb, that is lead, plus CuCl2 gives PbCl2 plus Cu. Now in both these reactions, Zn and lead, sorry, zinc and lead are more reactive elements than copper. Here you can see that zinc has displaced copper from copper sulfate solution and has formed ZnSO4. Here lead has displaced copper from CuCl2 solution and has formed PbCl2. Is that clear? So these are the examples of displacement reaction. Now displacing an element. A more reactive element displaces a less reactive element. So how we're going to know whether this metal is more reactive than another element, or how we're going to know this? So we can know this with the help of reactivity series, and about this series you will going to study in detail in chapter number 3. Now this is activity series of metal. Okay, now about this series you will going to study further in chapter number 3. I just want to show you this. Now here you can see that this arrow shows that the reactivity is decreasing downwards. That means potassium is the most reactive metal, and Au stands for gold, is the least reactive metal. Is that clear? And previously we were discussing equation. So here you can see that Zn is placed above copper. That means Zn is more reactive than copper. Is that clear? You can see iron also. Iron is placed above copper. That means iron is more reactive than copper. Is that clear? So about this series you will going to study further in chapter number 3. Fourth and the last type of reaction is known as double displacement reaction. Now what happens in this reaction is there is basically an exchange of ions between the reactants. Alright, like here you can see I have given two examples, Na2SO4 plus BaCl2. So these two are the reactants. All right. And you know very well that Na is positively charged and SO4 is sulfate is negatively charged. All right. Similarly, in BaCl2 also barium is positively charged and chlorine is negatively charged. Now, exchange of ions means what? You know very well that like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. So what will happen here is there will be exchange of ions. Na being positive in nature will be attracted towards Cl. Is that clear? So NaCl is formed here, and sulfate and barium, they are having different charges. So they will be attracted and they will form BaSO4. BaSO4 is known as barium sulfate. Is that clear to everybody? Okay. Second example. Here you can see that lead, you know very well, it is positive in nature. Nitrate is negative in nature. Potassium and I is iodine. Please do not get confused. This is Ki, potassium iodide. Okay. So potassium is positive in nature and iodine is negative in nature. So lead will be attracted towards iodine and it will form PbI2. That means lead iodide. Okay. And nitrate and potassium will be attracted towards each other because of having different charges. So they will form potassium nitrate, KNO3. I hope you have got the point. So exchange of ions, I hope you have understood now what is the meaning of exchange of ions between the reactants. Now, why it is known as double displacement? Because you can see two ions are exchanged. That means there is displacement of two ions. Two means double. Is that clear? Previously, the third type of reaction was displacement reaction. So that we can consider as single displacement reaction because only one element, single element was displaced. But here you can see that two elements are displaced in this reaction. So this reaction in which there is an exchange of ions between the reactants is called double displacement reaction. I hope you have understood all the four types of reaction. First was combination reaction, second was decomposition reaction, third single displacement or simple displacement reaction, and fourth double displacement reaction. Okay, students, now the excited part of the video is practice questions for you all. There are two questions, and these two questions are from your NCERT book. Question number 1 is a solution of a substance X is used for whitewashing. I hope you have understood about what I'm talking about. We have already discussed this question in the same video. There are two parts of the question. Number 1 is name the substance X and write its formula. Very easy. B part, write the reaction of the substance X named in A above with water. So I hope you can do this question very easily. Question number 2 is write one equation each for decomposition reactions where energy is supplied in the form of heat, light or electricity. This same question also we have discussed in this video. Please go through these two questions and write down the answers in your rough notebooks. Okay. Okay, children, this is all for today. I hope you have understood all the topics that we have discussed so far, and I hope you are liking my videos also. Please stay safe and stay healthy and